The story begins with the Shiba siblings attending the opening ceremony of First High School. There are 9 in Japan. They are schools affiliated with the National Magic University. And the whole point is to train mages. Because it's the 2090s, magic is the future of weapons technology. First High School is located in, you guessed it, Tokyo. And this show spends a lot of time on technical world building. Miyuki is the incoming freshman rep, and she's being fussy that it wasn't Tatsuya. Soon after, character introduction and world building with Mayumi Saigusa. One of the big plot points that doesn't translate well into English is numbers, Saigusa being one of the 10 master clans. The 10 most powerful mage families in Japan. All of their family names have numbers. Easy examples are the protagonist family Yotsuba, written 4-leaf, Saigusa, written 7-leaf, and Jumonji, written 10-style word. Important for context, Tatsuya and Miyuki are members of the Yotsuba main family but are living under a different family name for OPSEC reasons. More world building is Tatsuya's internal monologue alludes to some kind of discrimination within the student body, and the introduction of Mizuki Shibata and Erika Chiba. Mizuki has some special eyes, and an offhand comment she makes tips Tatsuya off to this, with a scene at home telling us that the Shiba siblings don't exactly have the best relationship with their family. Also by now, Miyuki has probably raised some red flags. I'll address this later. The next morning they head to a shrine where Tatsuya trains in combat under Yakumo Kokonoe, a self-described shinobi. He's also a bit pervy. And we get our first real look at how magic works in this series as Miyuki taps what looks like a cell phone and cleans their clothes. It's a device called a CAD, and yes, the show will explain it. In class, another of Tatsuya's friend group gets introduced, Leonhardt Saijo. There's some student strife because of class bigotry that almost ends in a fight after school. Mayumi shows up with Mari Watanabe, the president of the disciplinary committee, and it looks like everyone's in trouble, but Tatsuya diffuses the situation. Miyuki's friend group gets introduced, consisting of Honoka Mitsui and Shizuku Kitayama. This is the group who is largely the primary cast, though the Shibas are the main characters. And there's one more who will be introduced at the start of the next arc. The following morning, Mayumi shows up again, and she's actively trying to recruit Miyuki to the student council. Miyuki petitions that Tatsuya also be appointed, but because he is a second-class student, he is ineligible. Mari, however, has no such restriction for the disciplinary committee, so she adds Tatsuya to her ranks. What does the disciplinary committee do? Basically private security, and this leads to an after-school mock battle with the council VP. His name is Hattori Hanzo, which will ping any history weebs out there. Anyway, the mock battle. Tatsuya crushes Hanzo, and we get lots of exposition and world building on magic, as well as why Tatsuya is rated second class despite his overwhelming combat prowess. The following day is the big club recruitment drive, which means the disciplinary committee will be in full force to maintain order. One in high demand is Erika, and the story showcases a conflict between 2 clubs in the gym. Tatsuya does his job, beating down several of the other students. The slow drip of how OP Tatsuya is continues as he explains to his friends his magic jamming technique. The next day, Tatsuya is ambushed by someone. Then he's approached by Sayaka Mibu about joining the Kendo Club, and a meeting with the student council reveals the first antagonists of this story, an international anti-magic terror org called Blanche. Tatsuya explains to Miyuki it's basically communism. The author was based as fuck, making China the villain. Another day, and a group of students take over the broadcasting room, Tatsuya negotiating with those students, and Miyumi showing up to finish the scene. She sets up a forum for after school where the issues of course discrimination can be addressed. And another visit with Kokonoe reveals several things, including who's currently moving behind the plot. The forum takes place, and while it looks like Mayumi is winning the hearts and minds of the student body, it comes under attack by Blanche. The Shibas meet up with Leo and Erika, then head to the library where Blanche plans to steal some records. This ends with a confrontation between Erika and Mibu. With the assault on the school thwarted, some of the students plan a counteroffensive. Launching the attack, they bust into the ops base where the Shibas really show how OP they are, confronting Blanche's Japan branch. And with the defeat of Blanche comes the end of the enrollment arc, and your introduction to this incredible futuristic Magitech story, the Irregular at Magich High School. One of the most contentious series of the current anime zeitgeist is a novel from 2011, authored by Sato Tsutomu, with illustrations by Ishida Kana. The novel series spans 32 books, with currently 7 books in the sequel series, excluding Gaiden books, which adds another 16 stories and 11 spin-offs. Just like with the novels, the manga is broken up into its story arcs, with several different artists taking over drawing the manga. I tried to read the manga, but I found the shifting art styles between each story arc to be a little bit too disjointed, especially when I got to the Yokohama disturbance arc of the manga. It was drawn by Gin Amo, and if you read The Black Summoner, then you know his art style. But regardless of whichever version of the series you choose, you can bet it's going to be packed with plot like a 600-pound woman on an airplane seat. And while both the novel and manga separate the arcs by volumes, the first season of the anime doesn't really do that all too well. To address the story in chronological order of events, it starts with a 1-hour, 11-minute TV special by 8-Bit that aired in December of 2021, the Reminiscence arc. It explains how Tatsuya and Miyuki became who they currently are, just not what they are. Season 1 totals 26 episodes crafted by Madhouse, airing from April to September of 2014, and consists of the Enrollment, 9 Schools Competition, and the Yokohama Disturbance arcs. Season 1 also had a spin-off called Honor Student at Magic High, which is the first 2 arcs from Miyuki's perspective that aired 13 episodes from July to September 2021, crafted by Studio Connect. It's flashier on the design and much less info-heavy. To make the comparison, Irregular is like Ghost in the Shell, and Honor Student is like Psycho-Pass. Season 2 by 8-Bit, totaling 13 episodes airing from October to December of 2020. The Visitor arc. It's about interdimensional psychic parasites with an undertone of they might be demons. It also introduces Angelina Shields, who is important to some plots moving forward. And it has a 1-hour, 30-minute side story movie airing in June of 2017 called The Girl Who Summons the Stars. From April to June 2024 is Season 3, with 13 episodes covering the Double 7 arc about Mayumi's younger twin sisters joining First High, and the Ancient City Insurrection arc, which is about, you guessed it, political subterfuge inside Japan. Following up with the Yotsuba Succession arc movie to air in 2016. And that's where the anime currently sits. Despite all that story written, in the West, the tourists are ass mad about a recurring joke they don't even understand. The incest joke. The Yotsuba Succession arc will explain in autistic detail what's going on with the MCs, but I'll just say it now. Miyuki is, quote, a genetically engineered medical miracle the Yotsuba clan can't hope to make happen twice. Do with that info what you will. Tatsuya often makes jokes about Miyuki's yandere. Yes, he does say they're jokes. To that effect, Erika and Leo also immediately pick up on that it's a joke. Mizuki, however, doesn't. The way he treats her is obviously familial. And if you're not put off by Miyuki's extreme brother complex, then you'll find an incredibly well-written and technical sci-fi fantasy about a future where magic and technology have fused into a single entity. This is one of my favorite series just for how well crafted the world is. All of the characters have depth and history, unlike most other series that would begin publishing in the 2010s. And the attention to detail that's lost in translation is tragically unavoidable. English really doesn't have a comparison to furigana, the difference between how something is read and how it's supposed to be understood. One example being the 10 Master Clans, and in the very first episode, Tatsuya throwing out an offhanded mental comment about Erika. He hears her family name Chiba and recognizes the number. Under the 10 clans is the 100 families. They all have numbers in their name, but aren't as strong or influential as the 10. Erika's family Chiba has the character 4000 in it. And the magic system is insane. I've never seen anything like it. Completely rewriting the standards you'd think of when it comes to what magic even is. Splitting it up into the 4 systems' 8 types, and you bet I'll be making a video on this too, because this magic is just too damn cool to ignore, with some absolutely insane spells being thrown around. One thing of note for the anime is that 8-Bit remained consistent with Madhouse art style from Season 1. If you weren't told, you'd probably think Madhouse made all of the anime. There is some of that 3D CG that's gotten rather popular as of late in all of the seasons, but they're rarely noticeable, with only 2 instances in Season 3 where they looked actually jank. And they're really only used for background mobs to fill out scenes, so their inclusion isn't really even important. The Japanese VA work is also high qual and consistent, though with as dialogue heavy as this series is, I won't fault anyone for watching the dubs over the subs, at least for the seasons where dubs exist. The show won't go into full info dump mode, but it will drop extended scenes of exposition when explaining something important to the plot. Also, there are some fantastic insert songs, which is a good thing since you'll be hearing them often depending on the scene, but when you do hear them, they're always appropriate. And while the Shibas might be the main characters, their friend group, the Master Clan characters, and a bunch of other recurring supporting characters get plenty of time to participate in the story, especially the Shiba's friends. Its deep and highly technical nature of the world requires your attention. It's not something you can just half watch while doing something else. And the setting can come off as a bit sterile with how everyone is extremely polite and formal, but that can easily be explained by the setting of 2095 Japan. We're still 70 years off from then IRL, and there's no telling how the country will evolve. Also, while I wouldn't say that fan service is abundant, I wouldn't call it scarce either. It very much so selects when to give you the eye candy, be it the abundance of female characters or the magic. I am the NBT. This has been the Noble Weeaboo. Like or don't, sub or don't, and thank you for watching. Irregular at Magich High School is a complex piece of art with an unexpected level of depth to just about every character that gets a name. And it blends magic and technology in a way so unique I've never seen anything like it. It's a beautiful piece of fiction, and I definitely recommend giving it a watch.